Well, the have-nots always want more. That's why there's padlocks on the front door. That's why the window blinds don't ever shine lighting. The bad side of life seems so inviting. So I'm unsure if I'm unsure. I'm just a big shot who's coming up short. I'm just a little boy trapped in a grown man's body. Only time I ever want is when I know I ain't got it. So give me that piece. 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 You know it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Need a little something more. 5, 6, 7, 8. All that other shit can wait. 9, 10, 11, 12. Why'd I do this to myself? I need some beats right now. I'm talking 1, 2, 3, 4. Need a little something more. 5, 6, 7, 8. All that other shit can wait. 9, 10, 11, 12. Why'd I do this to myself? I need some beats right now. I'm trying to make mine. The time is on my side, and that's a great sign. Going with the flow, I never swam a straight line. My ocean at the moment's only feeling waist high. So maybe I can stay afloat and take a stage dive in the deep part of it. I don't have to say why, y'all don't even bother me. Hit you with the face palm. If you keep hollering, I'll pop you, then it's over. Make you Leviosa on some Harry Potter shit. Yeah, I will not admit, yeah, I'm dishonest with, yeah, my own consciousness. I kinda miss the obvious, yeah. Plus I got a bitch, yeah, but I know life's a bitch. I guess that makes me polyamorous. That's probably cause I have nots always want more. That's why there's padlocks on the front door. That's why the window blinds don't ever shine lighting. The bad side of life seems so inviting. So I'm unsure if I'm unsure. I'm just a big shot who's coming up short. I'm just a little boy trapped in a grown man's body. Only time I ever want is when I know I ain't got it. So give me that piece. 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 You know it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Need a little something more. 5, 6, 7, 8. All that other shit can wait. 9, 10, 11, 12. Why'd I do this to myself? I need some beats right now. I'm talking 1, 2, 3, 4. Need a little something more. 5, 6, 7, 8. All that other shit can wait. 9, 10, 11, 12. Why'd I do this to myself? I need some beats right now. Give me that.
What's going on, guys? What's going on? Back at it. Streaming on YouTube, man. Streaming on YouTube. What's up, Lone Wolf? Shout out to you, man, for jumping in. Make sure everything is rolling good. Haven't done it in a minute. Been a couple months on YouTube. But we're back at it. If you're new here, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. I will be trading live with you guys here. But remember, first, read this screen right here. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just an idiot on YouTube. None of this is financial advice. This is entertainment purposes only. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. Almost all traders lose money. Also, make sure you read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is in prop accounts. But with that said, markets opened up. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we got going on here, man. Drop this bad boy down. I'm going to stay on a slightly higher time frame. I do like running the 5-minute 100 tick. But the 100 tick these days, when we got this type of move in Asia, is pretty wild, man. It's pretty wild. So I'm going to probably keep this on the 5-minute, 3-minute. Try to stay calm right here off the open. It's 9:32 and 30 seconds here in Eastern time. Just opened up. Do I think the downtrend continue? Do I think the downtrend from overnight session will continue? I don't know, brother. We got inauguration that happened yesterday. Trump's in, and that obviously caused some volatility, or that's what I would assume. They were signing a bunch of executive orders. I saw a bunch of news headlines pop up all over the place, and I think that is pretty much all we can expect for today and coming into the next few years, where we have a lot going on the political side, geopolitics, and some impact on the U.S. indices here, right? If we're trading U.S. markets, this is MNQ, trading MNQ here on the TopstepX platform. This is a 50K XFA that I've got loaded up here. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Looking at the higher time frame, just wanted to jump right in and see if we are going to blast off. Honestly, I'm looking at this as potential, I'll show you why, as a potential bullish move, but I'm going to stay kind of neutral. So if we zoom out to the daily, right, We know way high time frame trend, right? Zoomed out, like looking at, this entire year so far. Pretty damn bullish, right? Last year. We look at what we have going on right here, where we're kind of coming down outside of this uptrend, right? We had this really solid uptrend. If I was a trend line guy, I'd probably have something like that drawn. And we started to break down outside of that, right? We put a series of lower lows and lower highs in, just looking at the basics of market structure here. Is this a massive downtrend for the U.S. indices day over day? No, absolutely. Absolutely not. We're still pushing to the upside. But right here, right now, we are kind of drifting lower. We're not blasting above all-time highs. But we had a chance to continue lower a couple times down here, really continue this move to the downside. If you look at these, daily candles, this is looking somewhat bullish, at least for this last little stretch up. We had a chance to reject right here, kind of follow this trend line to the downside, right? If we were trend line guys, maybe we would have a trend line up here. Maybe you do, right? Not really get above that. That was a beautiful test and looked like we wanted to continue down. But what happened? Bullish candle breaking back above. And now we've got today's candle forming so far, opening up bullish with a nice long wick to the downside. We are not above yesterday's high, but we are above session VWAP, right, on lower time frames. As we start down looking lower, we can kind of see what this looks like on a 1 hour time frame zoomed out as well. We got some uptrend structure forming, right, day over day here. This is looking kind of bullish to the upside. Maybe medium time frame, whatever you would call this right here. We're kind of breaking out from this structure here. This is the next line in the sand that I'd be looking at, right? These highs coming from earlier this month. Do we continue pushing to the upside, crack above this high? I think the next area would be, way up here at the 22,000 level for NQ. If we are going to turn down, market, for whatever reason, didn't like what was going on at the open of trading yesterday after MLK Day, maybe we do turn lower. We turn lower and we start to crack below all the way down into like the 300s. That could be lookout below for a larger move to the downside. Again, this is kind of just higher time frame speculation. Coming into the session, I try to stay super neutral, right? I don't like to have a heavy bias to the upside or downside. I want to see what kind of momentum we get coming into the open right here, right now. If my chart resets, let's see. No, not resetting. But right here, right now, looking at this overnight session, we cracked to the downside really aggressively, bounced right back up through overnight session, through Asia. We popped to the upside into London. We drifted to the upside. And pre-market, been a little bit choppy, but we've been staying above VWAP, right? I think a really clear level is where this temporary volume point of control here is on the 3-minute. If I zoom out a little bit, obvious area of high volume traded, right? You could have a zone drawn right here, right around VWAP. I'm not going to clutter up my chart, but this is where I'd be looking for a pullback. Let's say right into the 21,625 area, somewhere down around there. Looks like we're going to get that right now. Opening up with some movement to the downside. So let's go ahead and get a vertical line right at 930. Opening up with some movement to the downside. Yeah, I'm going to try to not jump in right away on this, but I do trade the momentum and the volatility near the open here on NQ. Can be helpful. Maybe Lone Wolf. I'm reading your comments here. Guys, feel free to ask questions. I will read some good comments, talk about some good stuff, and ignore and ban the trolls. YouTube is, for whatever reason, is a nightmare in the live chat, but we'll see. We'll see what we can do. Just gonna go ahead and check out Bookmap as well. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at on Bookmap, as we're kind of just waiting to see if this sell-off is really going to push to the downside. I'm not going to look for support found. If you were bullish on the day, right? If you were bullish on the day, outside of structuring risk, way below this, this overnight low, this is not a bad area, right? You're retesting VWAP. Maybe we find some support down here, right around this area of high volume that we just came down into. And, we look for a movement to the upside, right? If that's your higher time frame thesis. think it's a little bit early to be jumping in at 9:38 a.m. if you're going to be shooting for a higher time frame, larger movement throughout the day. Maybe you want to wait a little bit longer. But again, today off the open, pretty neutral, right? At least for me. I don't have a massive indication to say, hey, we're testing lows. We've been trending to the downside. As soon as we start to break to the downside, or I'm going to look for a pullback to get in short. And conversely, we don't have that to the upside. Now, we come all the way back up to challenge the highs of overnight session. Yesterday's high and overnight session. No, overnight session is right over here where we opened up. We come all the way back up for prior day high. I'm going to be looking long. That's kind of going to be my first thesis here. But for right now, neutral. Right back at VWAP. So unless I have a strong bias, we're trending in one direction, and I really would like to jump in. I don't want to trade right off of VWAP right here. So I'm going to hang out. Hang out and see for a moment. Let's see. But what's up, guys? Appreciate you hopping on, man. Get some trading in. Show you guys Bookmap. This is Bookmap, my favorite order flow tool. This is a paid software. Full disclaimer, I am partnered with Bookmap. It's been like crashing out on me. I don't know why. I've got super fast internet and pretty good system here, but it's been kind of going crazy, locking up and making me reset it if I display too much data. So just running it like really zoomed out just to take a look at above and below price. We had some orders all the way up here at 750. We don't have anything really standing out. This is level 2 data. We got price levels right here, and this is the current order book. This is your depth of market, right? The ladder. And it's showing us quantities of resting orders above and below price. Right now, how I use this is I look for liquidity, right? I look for a big stack of orders above and below price, right? Resting orders on the bid or the ask. And I say, hey, maybe if we start to trend towards that, I want to be paying attention to that level. Still trading quite a bit here, but we got this algorithmic stuff right above and below. Nothing too crazy, pushing to the downside or the upside until we get up to 750. But even then, that's not a huge stack of orders, right? We don't have anything lit up like a Christmas tree. We start to zoom in, get a little bit more granular view. If I don't break Bookmap, we got some on the book down below. Looks like maybe we want to come and tag this right down below this algorithmic stuff that's trading. That looks like some real liquidity down there, although it's pretty close to price. 21,578-ish. But nothing crazy standing out to me so far outside of what we got down here. Maybe we come down, fill that, potentially see some volatility. We got some down at 550, but I run Bookmap pretty zoomed out, looking at big levels of liquidity, big stacks of orders on the book above and below price, and pay a little bit more attention to those areas, right? Something I might not have on my chart, just a little bit more additional information. Sometimes it shows some really interesting things, big stacks of orders racked up above and below price. And we see a lot of volatility, maybe pushing through those. We see a ton of buyers step in at one level. We see a lot of orders being fed onto the book, really like creating a line in the sand, not letting price through. So it could be interesting to see. But yeah, trading right around this 600 level. So I run that over on the side. If there's something interesting that I see on there or I'm talking about, I will try to show you guys that. But again, for now, running my chart a little bit more zoomed out. Sometimes I do like to run the 100 tick and 5-minute or 15-minute kind of bounce between a really low zoomed in time frame and a little bit higher. Going to challenge myself to run this a little bit higher time frame today. We just had a lot of movement over here, and I want to keep that in mind that this is some pretty gnarly structure that we're looking at. I'd like to just have that looking left over here as we're watching what's going on here zoomed in. This is still low time frame, right? 3 minutes. Actually, just check out the hires. Yeah, man. This is interesting. Really interesting. I don't have I really don't have a strong thesis on this one way or the other. I want to see if we hold here around Bookmap and really start to push back up, head back towards these highs, and look like we're going to form a really strong bullish candle on the daily chart and just continue this move to the upside. So I'm cautious of shorts. Conversely, we start to just continue what we saw yesterday, or at the open, last night, and we start to drift lower really aggressively, staying below VWAP, we see some volatility and momentum to the downside. That could be an interesting case for a move lower. Gun to my head, I'm looking long on this. Zoomed out, right, on the 30-minute is pretty clear. At least right here, right now, we are in this leg to the upside day over day, right? If we zoom out even more, a case could be made that, hey, we've been trending lower. You zoom out even more than that on the 4 hour of the daily, you could say, stonks go up, right? Stonks go up. So it's interesting when people jump on and say, we're trending up, we're trending down, or don't fight the trend. Well, which trend are you talking about, right? Are you really, really zoomed in on a 1 minute chart? Or are you really, really zoomed out on a 4 hour chart? You're probably going to be looking at two different trends there. It is a nice situation when you get really clear direction from higher time frames all the way down to lower time frames. I will say that. 9:45, we're going to get our 15-minute opening range setting here. But this might be a day where I look to wait for maybe a trade or two in between, but initial balance would be pretty sweet to get on this one. Initial balance being the first 1 hour of the trading session, the high and low put in for the first hour of NYSE Open, the 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. Eastern zone. There's some strong stats from Edgeful behind that. Some stats from Edgeful on initial balance as well. On 15-minute opening range as well. Let's see. Just not as strong, right? We're breaking both sides most of the time. That's what we got. Yeah, so for the 15-minute opening range on NQ, what we set right here, the high put in, if we zoom in, the high is coming off of this candle right here, the 9:30 candle open, all the way to this low. More often than not, over the last year, 54% of the time, 54.47% of the time, we are breaking this high and this low. So double breaks are more common, but not a massively strong stat, right? Not like 70 some odd percent of the time for initial balance, where we break only one side and we don't come back to break the other. But it can be helpful to know about those things. But we'll stay patient. We will wait to look for an ideal way to structure risk. If you're new to me and my trading, I trade discretionary, price action, and market structure, volume tools, a little bit of order flow on the side, and areas of interest. Horizontal levels. I get made fun of for saying horizontal levels, like as opposed to vertical levels. But zones, right? Support and resistance, supply and demand. Some objective, like prior day high and low, is objective. Some discretionary, but mainly focusing on price action and market structure, and a little bit of volume, right? Visible range, volume profile, or volume profile, visible range. However, that's actually supposed to be said. Now, okay, crack below VWAP, support found, and looks like we want to run back up through this area of low volume. And maybe come and check this area back up to the 700s, right? Coming back into the 650s. Do we want to find support down here, right? If we keep our reference to the higher time frame, we could be setting up for a larger move to the upside, right? If you zoom out a bit on the 15-minute, I think you could certainly make the case to say big wick down after a push up and, bull stepping in. And we like that, what's going on with politics and everybody's getting ready to position themselves to the upside. We have some aggression coming in on policy changes, and that's going to be absorbed as, or interpreted as really bullish information. I could absolutely see that. So again, I'm not looking to jump in really aggressively right off VWAP, right? If I wanted to do that, we probably should have done that already. But I do see some bullish structure forming here. We can certainly turn and burn to the downside, but I'm watching this for a move to the upside. Getting involved from down here, not a bad way to structure risk, right? Could look for something like this. Again, I'm not in a trade. Obviously, you'll know when I'm in a trade. You'll see the P&L running, everything moving. You know, if you said, hey, I think this is a retest of VWAP, we got bulls stepping right back in, we're going to push this to the upside. This isn't a terrible way to structure risk. Stop loss right below the lows of this session, targeting prior day high first, and then maybe targeting a break and hold of prior day high. Just a little bit early, right? A little bit early. This is going to move, though, right? And if you don't take it from down here, you're in for a different trade, right? You don't take it from down here, which I'm not sure that I'm going to do. I'm going to watch what happens real quick, but I'm eyeballing that as a first trade. If it does push up, right, now you have much worse risk structure with a stop loss way down below here. You're probably going to want to wait for something along these lines, maybe something to form like this, give you another way to, you know, create a level of invalidation where you say, hey, if we come all the way back down, I think we're wrong, or at least I'm wrong from all the way up here. And, you know, I'm going to wait for another move. But that's timing and, you know, waiting for a clear way to structure risk. But the longer and longer I trade, the less the less I really am focused on like the specific entry in terms of what's going to happen next, and the more I'm concerned with the risk structure and the opportunity for a movement. The area that I have to place a stop loss that takes me out of the trade, I really like it to be very clear, right? And I'd say from down here, if you were looking at getting long off VWAP after a break above, or long after a break below and then a crack back up above, you got a pretty clear way to structure risk to say, you know, maybe you go like really wide. You go like 20 points below this level. Nice wide stop loss, 75, 80 tick stop loss. And you say, hey, if we come all the way down here, I don't think we're just going to wick lower and then crack back up. I think, I'm wrong on this movement being bulls stepping back in to continue higher. And I think we're probably going to go lower. We're going to go challenge, yesterday's low, maybe head back down towards here. So again, looking at risk structure, I think is really, really helpful outside of like super zoomed in on the 1 minute. And, unless you're scalping, right? Unless you're going for a move right here, right now, really finding a way to get a clear invalidation point can be helpful. So this is kind of thought process number one. Again, a little bit early, but I think this is going to continue higher. Just zooming out a little bit, right? Check a higher time frame, get a feel for what's going on, kind of see what this looks like. Decently volatile. This isn't tiny price action. We're moving a bit. Could be setting up for choppy day too, right? Back down at VWAP, we sliced below, we came back up, we cracked above. We're not running through it right here, right now, although we look like we want to try. Could be choppy, and getting involved here, you run the risk of, okay, yeah, we do need to come back down a little bit lower, chop around here first, continue higher, and you're getting involved right at this VWAP line. So I don't love this one. Although it's not terrible. But I'm going to hang for a little bit. I hang before this first one. Just kind of give this thing a little bit more time to do whatever it's going to do. Like after this, 3-minute candle, 5-minute candle, I would like to see this next one follow right through. Wow, look at that. So 953, I'm assuming that's not news, but there's your volatility right there. Directly back down. So let's see what happens from here. So now this is setting up for a short immediately, right? Right down 80 points off that high on a low time frame. This is now looking more like a crack below VWAP, pull back up, rejection, come back down to test the low. But again, if I'm swapping back and forth that quickly right here, it just tells me hands off for a minute. Let's kind of just see what happens. Wow, that's some movement for sure. This looks like a push lower. That was a very aggressive movement to the downside. We're putting in session lows. This looks like a move that we want to head right back down towards prior day low. Complete opposite play. Short, stop loss right above here. Continuation lower. But I'm not getting involved in this just yet. Not just yet. This is very aggressive. What I will do with you guys, in the past, I had a lot of no trade sessions. I will, if I don't get multiple trades on, I don't get trades on, I will let you know what I'm waiting for exactly coming into the afternoon, because I have been taking trades into the afternoon, holding on to them, much longer hold for the larger movement, wider stop loss, wider take profit trades. So you will, at bare minimum, get a trade idea that I am looking at and/or taking live with you here during every session. Ooh, this is dicey, guys. I'm hands off for right now. Right, like this looks okay to me to the upside on another day. Very, very aggressive crack lower, very aggressive. Wick below, no continuation, and now a pull right back up. So I'm not going to start selling breakouts and buying breakouts because it doesn't look like it's going to play too nice. But that's a break of the 15-minute opening range low, and it looks like we want to reject and come right back up. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for more structure. I think we can see a larger move today. I really do. There's obviously always potential for chop, just garbage back and forth price action. But I can definitely see the potential for a larger movement today based on post-holiday. Not a lot of news this week, but pretty massive change in the political atmosphere for the U.S. And again, I think there's also just potential for crazy volatility because, we get executive orders, we get stuff going on, pardons, and, different regulations that are getting that are happening at the drop of a hat, and we're not going to be fast enough to react. I'm not even going to try, right? I'm going to pay attention to the news as much as I can. Outside of just financial news events, just take a look at CNBC or whatever financial news site, maybe Financial Juice, and in the mornings just kind of take a peek. But am I going to know faster than other institutions and market participants that Trump did something, signed something, or made some announcement? Probably not. I'll get the alerts via tweets and stuff like that. But I think it comes down to just structuring your risk well, accepting the risk that you're putting on, and recognizing that we are in that type of market where we can see rapid movement. It can work in your favor, but it can quickly work against you as well. So it's okay, and it could be fun to trade, but get a stop loss in. Dear God, get a stop loss in, please, and know what that number is and accept that. Right? You should be doing that no matter what, but it's even more important when we're dealing with some volatile movement. Dow just shot up 200 points. Let's run TradingView over on the side. Actually, let's look at it together. That's fine. Wow. Yeah. Still nothing crazy on Bookmap for NQ. Let's take a look at ES. Choppy, right? Very choppy. Let's do a little bit of markup real quick. Here's our 930 open here on the 3-minute chart. Very choppy. Just back and forth expansion, right? Expanding price action. What do I mean by that? We are seeing this type of movement. We come down, break above lows, break above highs over here, crack below lows over here, and not continue. Maybe we continue to do that. That's maybe a good range trader's dream, but very difficult for a breakout trader or someone that's going to look for some continuation. Extremely choppy here on ES. Let's just see where we are within the daily. Yeah, I mean, setting up for a potentially bullish move, but that's some tough opening price action to deal with. So I'm hanging tight. There's our prior day high and low. Marking up ES because it's a good instrument for me to be looking at trading into the afternoon and to not have conflict with NQ if I look at something, pre-market, or I'm holding something for an overnight session. That's probably what I'd be looking at next on ES to the upside, to the downside, right off of these lows over here. Right, just paying attention to this low put in, and then maybe coming down off these lows down here below that. Yeah. Prior day high, just get a little markup on ES. Come back and check this one out later. And the real comment was from Dow. Yeah, man. Crack to the upside. Here's the open. Whew. Yeah, this is wild, guys. A little bit of a wild market here. A little bit of a wild market. Yeah, Nasdaq looking weaker, Dow looking strong. Not super duper one way or ES looking very choppy. Not really one way or the other, looking insane. Choppy, flat VWAP, right? Yeah, but this is not giving me a lot to work with. Not giving me a lot to work with. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. Thanks for hopping on. What's going on, Jose? But yeah, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, help me out. You don't have to do anything. Free means free. You could hop in the 100% free Discord community. Would be more than happy to have you there. 1,400 active members. You could talk to me, ask me questions, and check out everything that's going on with my trading. I don't claim to be the best trader. Far from it. But I will show you how I do what I do. And if you find some value in that, awesome, man. Links to everything down below. But yeah, I'm going to be running this, trying to be running it every day for 9:30 a.m. open. Free here on YouTube. Was doing a lot of trading last year on YouTube. This looks like we want to break, man. This looks like we want to break lower. Again, I'm not looking to trade this breakout on another day. This looks like we crack lower. We quickly head down towards the 50s to trade down below this low. Right here, right now. That's what this looks like to me. We got some wiggling going on down here on this 3-minute candle, but again, I'm not going to trade a breakout right here on this. I'm going to wait for structure, right? Maybe on another day where we see a lot of volume and momentum, I look to jump right into that. I try to read it to the best of my abilities, and so long as I have a good way to structure risk and a good opportunity, like this isn't bad to the downside, right? I don't mind trading into that. On a day like today, this is where the discretion comes in. This type of price action and market structure, these types of movements, I want to wait for more structure because I feel like I can easily be caught on the wrong side of this. And on another day, maybe I am. If you are, reading this as pull back down, bullish movement, nice, bullish candles, you're buying this to the upside, stop loss down below the lows, tough, right? I said maybe like 20 points below the lows. You might have survived that and be in drawdown from my entryway up here. And then that quickly fails. We see sellers step back in, break, retest a VWAP, crack above, long wicks to the upside, and then, we want to continue lower right now, but we don't yet. We come back up and test it. could be dicey. So right here, right now, gun to my head, I'm short. But I already said long, and that wouldn't have played out too nicely. So I'd probably be dead. You know, this is kind of what the short play would look like. But it's not a great risk structure. Maybe you wait for a little bit more of a pullback like that, and you try to go above these highs. You say, if we come all the way up here, I think I'm wrong. You could, you know, trade this very, very tight like that. Look for a breakout lower down towards prior day low. But I don't like this. This is decently sized structure here. Consolidation around below VWAP, you know, just below VWAP. ES choppy, Dow pushing to the upside and then back down. Looking a little bit weak. Yeah, Dow coming back down. It's a nice pop after the open. Some liquidity down at 50s. Here's the breakout trade to the downside to try it. Yeah, I think we're going to come through the 80s into the 75 and a potential to come right down to the 50s. Bookmap, we got liquidity right down below here. We got buy orders that looks like we might want to get filled. But I'm going to hang again. I'm not looking at this as a massive move to the downside unless we start selling off stupid aggressively. If anything, I think we potentially find some support down at prior day low. So I'm going to stay patient. I'm going to challenge myself not to trade a breakout right now. Yeah, man, appreciate you guys. Yeah, 100%. 100%. No trade is oftentimes the way to go. And again, I stay patient, right? I have no trade sessions. I don't like to come on here live and not take anything with you guys. But like I said, at the very least, I am positioning myself for these higher time frame movements into the afternoon, whether it's an extension or you know, a reversion back in, or I'm looking at a specific level. So I'm going to share that with you guys. At very least, if I don't get, you know, trades on in the morning, which is not common for me, I will let you know what I am taking into the afternoon. You will get that trade idea. But yeah, this is choppy as hell, man. This is super choppy. It looks weak, but like I would. Here's my thought. Initially, this looks weak. It looks like we want to come down and trade out the 50s. That's just my speculation, my intuition based on the structure that we have here. It's been rejecting here pretty nicely, but we keep coming down and testing it. This looks like we want to come lower. Do I think I want to position myself for a really, really long-term move to the downside? No, I don't. I like you're starting to look for a long on NQ. I could see that, right? Because when we zoom out to the higher time frame, you know, what do we got going on here? Or maybe a very zoomed out medium time frame, let's call it. This could still be setting up for a larger bullish move, right? Down around VWAP, following this structure here, this kind of nice trend line that we came down, really rejected off of harshly, could see it to the upside. So patience right now. 10:08 a.m. Eastern. Again, like I said, I really do like the initial balance stat. I could talk a little bit about that. If you guys don't know, the initial balance is the 1 hour opening range, right? The high and the low that's put in between 9:30 a.m. Eastern, which is NYSE open, and 10:30 a.m. Here's the stats from Edgeful. 77.82% of the time, over 3/4 of the days, over the last 1 year on NQ, it has broken either the high or low, but not both. It breaks one side and does not come back down to break the other side. Yeah, no continuation lower on this yet. Along with that, when it breaks one side, it typically extends by a pretty decent amount. It doesn't usually just sweep the high or the low of the initial balance and then come right back in. It typically extends. Some of that 77%, of course, is just going to be a crack of the high or low. And, 20% of the time, right? A little over 20%, we are breaking both sides. So, there's nothing foolproof. Really strong stat to say at least one side is going to be broken because only 1.95% of the time it doesn't break either. It stays within that range without coming down and challenging that high or the low. Along with that, just building off even further, we know that one or both sides are very, very, very likely to be broken. We know that 77% of the time, only one side is going to be broken. And we know that when it breaks one side or a side, it typically extends past it. Along with that, we have a stat that helps support what side is broken first based on what side is put in what order. So if we put in the high and then the low, which we are today, if we continue down and kind of hang out down here and we don't push higher, the low is more likely to be broken first. Low is more likely to be broken first by a pretty strong stat. So interesting stuff, right? Just statistics around levels. Does it work all the time? Absolutely not. You have to take into consideration, in my humble opinion, market structure, price action, trend, everything else that's going on that specific day to understand whether or not it's something you want to trade or, towards or help out, right? Or going to help you out with your trading. We might be like, 5 points from initial balance low. It's pretty obvious that one is likely to break first. Are we going to extend? Maybe. Are we at another major level? Where are we on the chart? What do these things look like? How much room do we have to move in either direction based on other levels on the chart? Can you structure risk in a way that makes sense? All of these things can help. But those objective stats, I think, are really helpful. Really helpful. So that's initial balance. Link below for Edgeful if you guys want to check that out. Long setup on YM. Yeah, send it. Send it, brother. Yeah, you got a way to structure risk, right? All right, now are we going to move lower? Now are we going to break out to the downside? Again, we're down here. This is looking like it, right? But I don't know that I'd want to hold all the way down here. Like, I think we got a good chance to trade out 50s and get close to cracking into the 25s and crack prior day low. That looks really appealing, but even that's not beautiful. Now you could say, all right, well, I'm going to take half off here and go stop loss to break even when we come lower. But again, I would have been wrong here trading it, wrong on the way down here trading it. I'm not taking it this time. So let's see. That's some momentum coming lower, though. That's some momentum coming lower. Again, guys, not in a trade. You'll see me in a trade. This is TopstepX. The stuff will pop right up on the screen. But let's see how that would have looked. Stop loss and validation somewhere up right above VWAP with a continuation lower. Now maybe a good time to go long on NQ. No, not yet, man. I'm not. I mean, again, way zoomed out, like, on the 30. This could be a decent spot, right? You say, hey, we're going to come down, challenge, prior day's low, find some resistance down here. I could see that, but this is looking weak off the open. If you're going to go for a much higher time frame play, which I'll be looking at into the end of the session, I could see that coming out, but it would be really, really, really counter to what's happening right here, right now, which I'm not comfortable with. And then what's my input on how market behaves under Trump? What do you think we can expect? Yeah, I was talking about that a little bit earlier, right? Like, I think that we are in for some volatility first. Whether we're going to go up or down with that volatility, I think it's difficult to speculate on, but like we saw yesterday right here, the market's going to react quickly to whatever information comes out. So I think we're in for some serious volatility, some serious movement. I think it can be helpful to recognize that you have to be cautious of that, understand like how large is this price action. Maybe you're going to use ATR, average true range, to keep a handle on what volatility is, and consider sizing down and widening up stop loss, widening up take profit. That's how I would look to start to handle that. Do I think we're going to run to the moon or sell off to the ground? I don't know. We're trading low time frames here. I don't have to speculate that far into the future. Just react to what's happening here on low time frames. But yeah, I think volatility. I think that's one thing that I would be cautious of. Expecting some volatility, rapid changes in volatility. So again, how can you handle that? Control your risk. Define your stops and maybe keep your sizing relative to that. If you're going to run a wider stop, give the trade a little bit more room to breathe. Hold for a longer move. Make sure you size down, right? If you're trading 1 mini or 5 micros or 10 minis, whatever you're doing, recognize that if that stop loss has to be a lot wider on Monday than it was on Friday, you got to size down if you want your risk to be in line. And that's just position sizing according to volatility, which is very important to do. I think in this type of market, fixed contracts, fixed stop loss, you're going to get smoked. Here we go, all the way down to prior day low. Now, do we find some resistance support here? That's my question. I'm happy I was being cautious and didn't open an NQ position. Yeah, man. I hear you. Yeah, good. When it comes time to make the trading decision, I just do the if then statement. Does this fit my entry criteria? And do I have a clear way to structure risk? Do I have a clear indication based on what's happened on the chart that I can react to, right? Because I don't want to try to predict. I just want to react to what's going on. And do I have a good way to structure risk? So far, I haven't had that. That looked really appealing right here also. And maybe I would have got in and had a stop loss here or here. But this is what I'm cautious of to the downside. And if I did sell off these lows at very aggressive, at most aggressive, I'm running, a 250 tick stop loss, and that was 200 ticks in profit before I'm right back at entry. So, this isn't a wonderful setup yet. But yeah, being cautious, man. Post holiday, we got Trump, in office doing kinds of crazy stuff. Like, if you want to be cautious around wild, trading days, today's one of them. I try to sit myself out of the market for major U.S. holidays, right? I don't think it's like very great price action and market structure to be trading on U.S. holidays or right around. Outside of that, I don't mind it. You could talk yourself out of every trading session. You could say, oh, it's Friday. It's no news Monday. There's news tomorrow. There was news yesterday. There's a way to and you end up as one of those traders where you never trade. So, major U.S. holidays usually are not great, in between Christmas and New Year's. I talked about that a lot this year. I don't think you need to just fight your way through that. Just take a break. Man, look at that rejection right off a prior day low. Look at that magical level, guys. What a crazy spot to have a level on the chart, right? No, it's just an objective level. This is the same coming off of the daily candle as it is on my chart, on your chart. Same level there. You should be able to find that if you like. Prior day high and low provides some sweet levels. And next up is going to be IB high and low. And that's pretty much what I'm looking to wait for. Depending where we are, I'm going to look to trade for an IB break. That's really what I see coming up here. This is looking weak, right? Nice break and retest structure. We'll see if we come all the way back up and make it super difficult for anybody that was getting short down here. or if this is going to be beautiful price action where we crack lower, pull right back up to the lows, and we are going to just continue to sell off here. That would make for a really nice break and retest structure to the downside, but I'm not sold on shorts at all today. Just not. And maybe I'm carrying an unhealthy bias, but I'm really not looking forward to hitting that short button. In fact, we come back up, get near IB high or start to head towards it. I'd love for it to set. I would look to trade towards that if we really reject down here harshly. Take a look at what ES is doing just for fun. Not nearly as weak. That was just its first slice below. What does it look like on ES rather than MES? And Dow usually lives in its own world, but we can see what it's doing. Pretty choppy on the 5-minute. Mark off IB high, and IB low is going to be right at prior day low. Or at least it is so far. Got another 10 minutes before these levels set. We'll have to continue to adjust them if price comes lower or higher. $6.50. Yeah, I'm gonna see what happens here, but this to me is setting up for like something I would like for a higher time frame long, a longer hold to the upside. That would be, an idea. Really harsh rejection off of yesterday's low after just sweeping it. IB low, the stat says that we break this first, so we would be trading against that, but we come up here and break this high. I think we extend, and I don't think we come back down to break this low. So it does help with structuring a trade, although we are trading against that first stat, that whatever side is formed last breaks first more often than not. But I'm not going to take this just yet. If I wait, I'm really not going to have a way to structure this. So I'm tempted on this, but I just want to see if we kind of pull back down, do something crazy and then start to continue. But I'm looking at this, kind of following this higher time frame structure to the upside, just zoomed out on the 15-minute, at least right here, right now. It would be counter to what we saw in the session so far for NQ, but overall it's been pretty choppy. I'm not looking at this as like a massive sell-off that I think we're going to move lower. So that's my idea. That's my trade idea. Really, really aggressive bullish candle. Again, I just don't know if we're going to test VWAP again and then blast lower. So I don't know that I want to be first buyer to the party here, but I'm eyeballing along from this level. And again, this is it's a higher time frame trade. This is going to be a longer hold trade. Much, much, much wider stop loss. Probably not a lot of trade management. It would either come down and stop me out, or I would look to just manage on the way up. But I'm going to look for this one. That's a wide stop loss. 100-point stop loss. Yeah, go with like a couple of micros on this. I am jumping in long from way, way up here, guys. And I'm going to run this with a really wide stop loss, like I talked about here. Really wide stop loss, like 115 points, something like that. I want to be down below IB low by like 30 points. I want to actually allow this thing to come down, challenge this, and then continue to the upside. So I'm actually going to make it way, way, way down here, like 470 something bucks a risk, because this is something I would hold for a much larger move to the upside. The thesis is that we're testing and rejecting really harshly from prior day low. We came back up to VWAP and didn't immediately bounce lower. We're challenging this up here. I think we rotate all the way back up. I think it gives me a good risk structure just back up to IB high, right? Almost a 1-to-1, getting back up to that level. I could tighten up and make it a 1-to-1. And if we break, come all the way back up to challenge highs of the session, I think we head towards prior day high, and this does turn into that big bullish move. If I'm wrong, I'm out at 478 bucks, and I think we're going to continue lower. If I'm wrong, I think I'm dead wrong, and we are going to crack way lower, and we're going to see big movement to the downside. So that's my trade. Again, late into the session, almost an hour in, waiting for IB. We got past this kind of crazy movement. I'm looking for support to be found down here, and this thing to continue higher. I think if I'm wrong, again, we are going to reject here harshly. Maybe just sweep these highs and reject harshly and continue lower, because I'm going to make the case, for and against my trades always. And in that case, again, it's just the market not agreeing with my analysis of price action and market structure. And if we do come lower, sure, we have the frustrating chance that we just sweep this low, take Zach out, and anybody that was getting long back up at VWAP, and then crack higher. But I think that's less likely to happen at this point. I'm not going to wait for more structure to do that. Here was our sweep down below and a continuation up. I think if we come down, we are going to break. We're likely to see something really aggressive. On the way back down, boom, maybe retest, and then, that would be I'm wrong on this completely. But we're right. I think we continue this bad boy higher. We drift back up towards IB high, break and extend above that. Head back towards prior day high. This is something I'd be looking to hold on to for a larger move to the upside. No take profit set. I would probably look to manage this bad boy around IB high. But I don't know that this is something that I would go to stop loss to break even on. I think this is something I would really want to hold for a larger move. I think we can see that today. I think this could be choppy and then a movement. Conversely to both of these ideas, we just chop around. We just chop around and I get stopped out, or I don't take profit up here and it comes back down. We always run that risk, right? Just a choppy, difficult to deal with day. But that's my thesis. Not super aggressive to the downside until we came all the way back up, right? That's my entry on this structure, pushing up right here. Not a breakout. I'm really right in the middle of this trading zone near VWAP, which is a dangerous move. Got to have a pretty wide stop loss below the low, at least for me, for this to make sense. Which on MNQ, I do. Just to measure this out so I know exactly what I'm looking at. Yeah, like more than 30 points, below the lows. I think we come back down. I'm dead wrong. So we'll see. Let this thing play for a little bit. Again, you'll see me take a couple different types of styles, right? But one is this much larger hold, right? Wide stop loss, holding for a larger move. And the other is much more zoomed in, really aggressive, right? Like we're here on the 3-minute, and I think we're going to break to the downside. And I go stop loss right here, take profit, right down here. I'm entering on a breakout and I'm just going for a quick movement. If it doesn't work out, I'm going to be wrong and it's just going to come right back up on me, but it's a much smaller movement, lower risk to reward, maybe higher probability, right? On these types of trades, I'm going to have, probably not a 50% win rate. I'm going to have a lower than 50% win rate. It's just, you're going to deal with choppy days. You're going to deal with times when you're dead wrong. And you're going to deal with times where you hold a trade for a long period of time and then it comes back on you. But that's okay, so long as you have a nice positive risk to reward. and you don't paper hand out of the trade that goes in your direction right here because you say, okay, well, $60 and I'm trading live, so I want to make sure this first one's a winner. And okay, we're out at $100. Good job, everybody. Meanwhile, you do that 4 days out of the week, and then one comes down and takes you out for $500, and now you're losing money. So it's just all relative. All relative. But we're in a trade, long 2 MNQ from 21, 612 and 3/4, showing me $108 in profit. I'd really like to see this continue. This is a higher time frame based trade. Choppy, very choppy, wiki markets. Another reason I'm cautious about getting involved with a tight stop loss on a day like today is like exactly what we saw right off the bat, where price just cracks very, very quickly in one direction, goes and sweeps a higher low and just comes right back on you. Like maybe you scalp the move quickly and you get in and out, but you could be trying the same thing so many times and it can get really frustrating. And you could have the direction right the whole time, but you're just not zooming out enough and accounting for these crazy, quick movements. Now, again, Trump could say something right now, or like, some read comes out and this next candle just straight up, knifes down, right? And slips me a couple bucks. That's the accepting of risk, right? You have to accept that. Here's my stop loss. I may even get slipped on this, but you got to say, I'm comfortable ending, this trade out, for $500 worth of loss. If you're not comfortable with that and you're trading at any point, you want to get out, right? You want to get out. You're not accepting the risk. You're not going to be able to manage the trade well. You'll never be able to hold it because you're nervous it's going to come back on you. That's the psychology piece. Yeah, I think I'm going to watch this from the 5 minute. Sorry for being twitchy with the chart, guys. But we're in a trade. Appreciate you guys being on here, man. Hit like, hit subscribe. If you want to chat, I got subscriber mode on. Try to limit the trolls that just hop in and take away from the guys that are adding really good content and asking good questions. But I'm just going to ignore all of those and ban those guys. I don't care so much about the negative engagement. Hop on here and talk to the guys that want to chat and have something actually constructive to say, right? You can criticize if you like and say, oh, no, I don't think that trade idea is right. I'm actually going short up here. I'm fading Zach. That's cool. But like, subscribe, hop in the free Discord, man. 100% free Discord. No VIP feeder program to be trading live with me. The only thing I do that I'm going to be doing outside of this is working with guys one-on-one. That's it. Just a couple at a time. But outside of that, everything's free. Free to trade live with me, free to get my strategy. If you want to use a code or hit a link that for a company that I'm affiliated with, and it's mutually beneficial because you get a discount and you decide on your own that it's a good fit for you, great. But there's no requirement to do that either. But I would be more than happy to have you in the Real Deal Futures Discord, man. Actually, I throw that in the chat. Make sure you guys get all that fun stuff. While we watch this trade play. Boom. See what our boys ES are doing. Yeah, chopping around, back up to VWAP, kind of retesting. Dow can't really figure out what it wants to do. again, this could set up for just a really choppy day, right? You know, this could just set up for we come down and sweep the low again. We come back up and sweep the high. You know, we just chop around VWAP. We extend. Could be a difficult day. Again, I'm looking at this as the market perceiving this this news and getting past it. You know, whatever is going on in the political sphere, and if I can survive some crazy volatility, that, you know, price action and market structure is king, and we hold this higher time frame trend to the upside. We kind of chopped around here a bit, swept these lows really, really aggressively, came down, tested the lows again, and, you know, sellers aren't wanting to take it lower right off the open. That we got a chance to, you know, push up to the upside. Real clear and validation point, at least for me, what I would call a nice clear and validation point. And opportunity, especially if we come back up with some force, which we're not doing just yet, kind of chopping at VWAP. Crack IB high, crack prior day high. That would really look nice. So we shall see. But I'll hang with you guys for a bit. Watch the market, watch this trade play out. Again, if you're on here, watch this now, and you say, what is Zach going to do after I leave? Probably only one of a couple things. This comes down and hits my stop loss. That's option number one. I don't see myself managing it. You know, we start to crack lower right here. I'm not going to close this. I don't. This is not buying for a big breakout that I want to push. Stop loss is where it needs to be. I want to let this thing come back down. You know, test IB low maybe. You know, come a couple points below it if we need to. I'm running it wide below there, taking all that additional risk because that's what I want to do. If we move in the direction of my trade, I'm only in 2 micros, so it's not a lot to be able to work with, but some off after a crack of IB high, after a sweep of these highs, I think I'm going to have to take 1 off up here. It just depends on what market structure and price action looks like. That would be a smart move, I think, and potentially stop loss to break even at that point, right? If this trade moves 100 points in my favor, do I really want to let it move all the way back down on me? On this one, you know, with entry around VWAP, I could maybe, but if we come up here, I'm probably taking 1 off and going stop loss to break even, leaving the second one on for a crack of prior day high and a continuation higher. But it depends. That part depends. That trade management depends on what structure looks like. You know, do we knife higher right now and just blast off? Do we chop around like crazy? Do we trend lower? You know, and then do something super duper choppy where I think, okay, well, now that we come back up here, are we really going to break out higher now? Or are we just going to sweep this high and come back down? You know, so I will read price action and market structure to the best of my abilities on the way up, right? Discretionary trade management. The smaller trades, tighter stop loss, take profit. I do like to manage. I do like to cut my losers short. Sometimes I place a stop loss. It's kind of like an emergency stop loss. It's really far away, and I really don't intend to let price get down there. This is not one of those situations, right? I'm in light as far as contracts go with 2 micros here with a stupid wide stop loss, you know, looking for a larger move. The stop loss is where it needs to be, you know. Maybe we pull something like this, you know, we just kind of chop and then, you know, start to drift. If I'm still watching this trade and we see that, I go, all right, man, I think we're much less likely to just continue higher. This is going to be a choppy day, and I'm going to run the risk of getting stopped out. This thing is showing no movement to the upside. Maybe into the afternoon. But for most likely, I see myself either being a full stop out on this or a nice profit. That's typically how I'm holding on to these. Again, especially into the afternoon where I step away. I'll set a couple TradingView alerts, right? Hop on TradingView, set some alerts above and below price, areas where I might want to manage a trade, but I'm not even watching it, you know, stepping away. So. Bookmap, yeah, light orders above and below. Nothing crazy. We do got some down to the 590s. I could see a pullback down into this area. Come trade out like 10, 20 points below that. do have about 50 on the book at 650, right up above these highs. Pretty obvious spot to have some liquidity up there. But I'm interested to see. We're at VWAP, right? So we're at that kind of middle ground. But appreciate you guys being on here, man. Thanks for hopping on. You guys are awesome. Otherwise, it's really boring. You sit in your room trading by yourself, listening to, I don't know, listening to the news or something. So appreciate you guys being on here. Hit subscribe if you want to chat next time. Hop in the free Discord. You can be talking with me, right after this, during this. Let's see. We got some boys in Discord. Good morning. Good morning. Looking at my guys from Discord. Again, hop in the Real Deal Futures Discord if you'd like a free community. See a couple of you guys hopped in. What's up? What's up? Two left hands. What's up, Shipwreck? Everybody's wild names. What's up, Brian? What kind of PA is this? Yeah, I don't know. Instead of jumping into trades without a clear direction and preparing a checklist for day trading. Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. If you find yourself, here's like my 2 cents on that. If you find yourself consistently jumping into trades without a real good reason, not following your real approach, just buying and selling on green candles and red candles, not structuring risk, and not applying consistency, you're over trading. Creating a really clear trading plan would be my step, right? What is your criteria for entry? What are you actually trading? What are you waiting for to happen? And then how are you going to structure those trades? How are you going to manage risk? That's kind of the order that I would do it. Something that can also help if you really find yourself in that direction is forcing yourself up onto a higher time frame. That can help. We're on U.S. indices or futures contracts. Most guys are intraday and they're really, really zoomed in. So kind of just giving yourself a little bit more time to think and having a checklist or, requiring yourself to write out like in 1 sentence or 2 sentences, or at least be able to describe it on the chart, make a note of what the heck you are trading, right? That can be helpful. But yeah, slow yourself down a little bit for sure. Because, we all find ourselves there and the dust settles and your P&L is very red, and it's not red because you took good trades, right? It's not red because you followed your plan. It's red just because you FOMO'd in and out of everything. And it could be tough, man. It could be tough. When the market's moving and, there's opportunity to be made, every point that's traded is money on the line, right? And we as humans want to be involved in that. But you have to be applying some consistency. You have to have a way that you're structuring risk with some consistency every day. And there has to be a clear reason behind your trades, right? Otherwise, we're shooting from the hip. And a lot of guys, do well for a while, but we can't even replicate it because we don't know what we're doing, right? Second part of that is journaling, journaling and review. You could do it stupidly simply. There's always arguments about like journaling. Just take a screenshot of your chart, man. If you're on TradingView or TopstepX or Project X or whatever, screenshot of your chart. You can copy link, download image, right? You could have this right here. Throw a position tool on the chart. This is actually exactly how I journal in a stupidly simple way. I'm going to go back and take a look wherever I got long. Here's my stop loss. I'll actually do it right now with you guys. And actually, I'll go something like that. And, you can use a note tool if you want right here on the chart. Long 2 MNQ for, all these reasons, stop loss was here for these reasons, take profit was here for these reasons, and you kind of write that stuff out. You could do that in a notes app of your phone as well. But with a screenshot of your chart showing what happened, what you saw, and then an explanation of why you did what you did, this, along with all of the stats that whatever broker you're with or whatever firm you're with is going to collect, that's a really good baseline. It's a really good baseline. At very least, you should be doing that. At very least, in my humble opinion. Well, I guess at very least, you should be journaling how you feel, what's going on with you. How did you do that day? Did you follow rules? Did you follow your trading plan? Did you structure risk? Yes, no, and why? What the heck happened? At very least, that's the feedback loop that I think everybody should have. But we'll let this one play out. Like I said, man, this is going to be a longer hold for me. Not something that I really want to touch until we come all the way back up and we start to fulfill this thesis that we are going to actually continue higher from this zone. Until then, I'm going to give the trade room to breathe. I think many guys say don't let winning trades turn into a loser. Take some off as soon as you're in profit. There's a ton of different ways that you can manage your stuff. For these, again, I'm more hands-off with trade management. I just want to let the trade start to play out. I recognize that I am not going to be right likely even half the time on these, and if that's the case, I better be making more when I'm right and losing less when I'm wrong. Or at very least find a way that makes sense to take profit at a reasonable level and get stop loss to break even to increase that win rate. But taking profit super quick or whatever it is tough. You use TradeZella for journaling? No, but I'm about to get signed up with them. I've had a handful of people show me TradeZella, and I know it's just super helpful. Pulls all the awesome information. I'd like to see more stats and kind of just compare against a couple different things. So I'll be testing them pretty soon this year, and I'll let you know what I think. But everything that I see from them is awesome. So it's a company that I'd like to use myself and probably try to partner with. Trying to prepare a trading journal for firms using Notion includes P-Notes. Yeah, awesome, man. Notion, the Notes app on your phone. I use Notion for a ton of stuff. Helpful, very helpful. Again, for me, most guys don't journal, right? They just don't do anything. And if it's just too hard and it's a spreadsheet or it's too much information or too much work and you're not going to do it, I'd say do something, right? Like simplify it to where you can do something rather than nothing and just do that. So I like to go for the most easy way to do it, the laziest way to do it, and a screenshot of a chart, simple notes about the trades that you took, why you did what you did, basic checklist, whether or not you followed your rules. More advanced than that is journaling in a spreadsheet, which can be very, very helpful. It can give you a lot of detailed information, a lot of detailed metrics for you to review and make adjustments with. But yeah, some of these will do it with you. TradeZella being one of them. So yeah, probably in a week or so, I'll get signed up with them and start playing with it. Because again, I've seen people use it, and I like the metrics that it provides, all the stats from different different accounts. But yeah, man, let me know how you like it. Watching this trade chop around VWAP. When I'm in these trades, if I'm looking to kind of watch and manage, sometimes I try to picture if I'm not in them. You can even open up an NQ chart and just kind of take a look and analyze without a P&L running in your face, and decide, hey, is this something that I want to be in? If I wasn't in now, where would I like to be trading towards or from? How would I structure risk? This isn't bad. It is very choppy. We're finding resistance here at VWAP, so I don't love that. I would have liked to see this momentum continue right here, but I see this as a pullback, sweep below some, low time frame lows. And now we're going to try it again. If we continue to fail up here, or we sweep again and then come lower, I will lose a little bit of faith in this trade. Again, we pull more of this on the 5 minute. We kind of do one of these, and then come lower again. Like, that's not going to look really good. But I'm going to give this one room to breathe. I'm not going to micromanage it. That's my game plan. But that can be helpful sometimes if you're getting shaken out of good trades, or just, like if you're trading higher time frame a little bit, you're kind of coming off the 15 minute, the 30, pull a little bit more of the set and forget it. Use TradingView alerts. If you don't use TradingView, link down below. I don't know many traders that don't know what TradingView is at this point, but use TradingView alerts. Set some alerts above and below price, step away, go get a cup of coffee, do whatever you're going to do. If you find yourself getting shaken out of good trades all the time, and you're only going to know that if you journal. So use TradeZella, use the Notes app, use Notion, whatever you like. Take some screenshots and take a look and say, okay, well, I closed the trade at $20 and then it ran, for $1,000 of profit that I would have closed. Or maybe you say, I noticed that I closed my trades out and then they continued my stop loss. I saved myself a lot of full stop outs. Great. Keep doing what you're doing. But you don't know what works or what doesn't work, and what to do more of and what to do less of, if you don't create a feedback loop to some degree. Yeah, this is choppy, dude. This is choppy, boys and girls. I don't love the chop. Don't love the chop. I'd really want to see this start to continue here. Again, just going to stick to my guns, my original thesis, going to give this thing room. But we reject here. We come back down lower. We start drifting lower. We challenge these highs, just this, like right above view up again, and we come lower. This isn't looking great. This looks like we could just be setting up for this kind of choppy expansion day. Back and forth, sweep highs, sweep lows, and no real movement outside of being a range trader and trading off extremes. But we'll let the trade play. And if you're interested in this one, hop in the free Discord. Link is down below. I'll keep you updated. I'll let you know how I make out. Right? I'm going to be doing a whole lot more of that, like I talked about. Give you guys ideas coming into the afternoon. Higher time frame trades, longer holds, actually easier to follow along with. Right? If you hop on and I'm scalping really aggressively off of the 100-tick chart, there's a delay on YouTube. It could be a little bit tough to really follow along with and understand what's happening. So helpful in that way. Continuing to hang around these 600s. Trade these bad boys again. Watching Bookmap trade out the 600s down to the 90s and to the 80s. Excuse me. See what NQ's got for me today. See if we are going to follow that Edgeful stat and break the IB low first. Trading against that one, like I talked about. We got IB low down here, initial balance low, initial balance high. We know that over the last 1 year of data, NQ 77.82% of the time only breaks one side of this and does not come back to break the other side. 20% of the time it breaks both, and only 1.95. How many days is that? Only 5 days out of the last 257 days, it doesn't break either side. It just stays within this range and chops around for the entire trading session. But continuing on that thought, when it does break a side, it typically extends by a pretty decent amount. And by weekday, it's even stronger on a Tuesday. 82% of the time, we break one side and don't come back and break the other side. And if we look by rejection, yeah, more often than not over the last year, it's breaking the IB high. That makes sense. Market's been moving up. By rejection, if the NQ forms the IB low last, right here, like the high is put in first, like it was, this side is more likely to break. But not that much stronger, right? 68.7% of the time it breaks this side first. So Edgeful, you can get that stuff. You get a 7-day free trial if you want to check that out. Links below. Yeah, man. Other than that, gonna be patient. Let this thing move. Again, hopefully not get caught on the wrong side. It'll be fun to watch. Like we talked about, we got major political events happening in the U.S. We are trading NASDAQ. It's a U.S. indice. We could see a quick knife up or down at any movement, right? We could see this happen at any time frame. So on any time frame. So I'd be cautious, right? If you're trading, and how I would handle that is kind of what I'm doing right now. Number one, put a stop loss in. Number two, accept that risk, whatever that number is. Accept that or greater in case you get slipped. Option three, maybe you widen out a little bit to account for the really rapid movements that can happen on low time frames. You kind of zoom out a little bit, and you have a chance to survive a little bit of those, lower time frame, quick movements in volatility, changes in volatility. But not much is going to survive something like that, right? If you're short, you cleaned up. You're long, you're long into this. That's a problem. Unless you're long on the rejection on the 5-minute, which would have been pretty nice. Yeah. So again, we come down lower on this. We start to extend this, looking at the higher time frame, just zooming out, right? Coming up on the 11 o'clock time frame, we typically see some volatility as additional markets close. Excuse me. But we typically see some volatility right around 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. What I'm getting at, looking at the higher time frame, if we come down and extend this low, I think I'm dead wrong, and we're continuing lower. That's the case against my trade. I could see this. I could see this as a nice bullish move, right? Really, if we close, this way in the next couple minutes, even if we pull to the upside a little bit higher in this candle, nice long wick to the downside of the 1 hour, 30-minute. This is looking okay. Like we retested down here. On the 15-minute, really, really nice bullish engulfing close to the upside here. Still right at VWAP, right? We're still right kind of within the, the middle of this choppy zone over the last couple of days that we've seen. But this looks good for the move to the upside. Again, conversely, we come down lower on this. I think it's short, shorts to play. And I may look for that. My second trade, if I'm going to take one, I don't know that I would get a second one to the upside because I just want to be holding on to this. If we come down, break this low, stop me out really aggressively, we start to see some like big momentum to the downside, I would look to play that. Because in that case, I think we're going to be breaking, some of this higher time frame movement, and we have room to come and challenge this low or even lower, come and sweep below that. So I like this. I like this to the upside. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in the trade. I'm bullish on this this move. Yeah. Bullish flag in the 1 minute. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Bull flag. I mean, we got a, for trend line, guys. We are really struggling to get above VWAP here. We are really holding below. If we were going to run an anchored VWAP, which I haven't been doing too much of lately, kind of really just chopping right there, although we're getting above it. If you run anchored VWAPs off the lows, we are holding above that, showing buyers in control after this test down here. That would be good for us, but again, I'm more zoomed out on this one, so I really am looking for a larger, taking into consideration just higher time frame, right? I believe that price action market structure is fractal, right? Price action and market structure forms the same or similarly on lower time frames as it does on higher time frames. If you remove the price and time axis, I don't know which chart is which, right? So if that's the case, you could trade whatever time frame you like. I think outside of the extremes, right? Like the 1 second chart or like the monthly chart. Even then you could trade those if you want. But on the lower time frames, you're just taking into consideration lower time frame price action and market structure. You got less time to work. Higher time frames, you're taking into account more market structure and price action, and you're structuring your trades that way. That's it. Personal view, scalping can be really, really, really good sometimes, but you got to be fast. You got to be ready to take multiple losses. I think most guys that are more zoomed in, that have shorter hold times, are running a higher win rate, lower risk to reward, oftentimes a negative risk to reward. Most guys that are diamond handing trades, averaging, long hold times, hour, 2 hours, going for a higher risk to reward. You're going to hold on to that winning trade. But it's all about whatever suits your personality and style, right? That piece as well. But again, appreciate you being on here, man. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Hop in the free Discord, subscribe so you get alerts. I'll be live here almost every day with you guys. You can chat by subscribing. Got subscriber mode on, trying to limit the trolls, but boom, hit the like button. You don't have to do anything. You can not do that if you don't want to. Free means free. Nice. And aside from that, man, we got experienced traders in the free Discord posting trade hypotheses, and charts. Shout out Brian, man. It's awesome. Really, really detailed analysis and chart shared on ES. There we go. Appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you guys being here. I really do. It's awesome. And again, great community, man. 1,400 members. Got a lot of active guys in there. Everybody trading different things, but moderated by me. Got a new fun leveling system. Everybody can earn cool colors for their names, different features in the chat, earn different stuff. Access to different channels. I'll do giveaways for guys that are really contributing a lot and helping out, right? Free. All free. That's the way I'm going to run it. Try to build something that has more value, moderated better, more benefits than most paid stuff. That's the direction that I'm taking as of right now. Keep changing what I'm doing, but I always go back and think to what did I want, years ago? What did I want out of guys, and what would have helped me the most? That struggling trader. And I think it's sharing as much as you possibly can for free. Again, I'm not the best trader in the world. I'm going to say that more often. Far from it. I think I'm going to stay a student of the game for forever. But I'll show you how and what I do. You can watch me live do well, do poorly. You could watch me nail trades. You could watch me make mistakes, and hopefully take some value out of that, man. And if nothing else, I'm just watching one other thing on my chart. Yeah, this is an interesting one. It's shaping up to be very, very, very choppy and slow moving. So don't love it, but I'm going to hang on to it. Time-based stop on this, again, unless we got structure that really swept these highs again and buyers failed to start to take it higher, and then we started to come lower and form some, more downtrend. Unless we get something like this, I'm not going to close the trade at a partial loss. If we knife down from here, I'm out. If we trend down aggressively from here and come and challenge these lows, I'm out. If we chop for a lot longer and then start to drift lower and it gives me a chance, we don't knife down then, maybe I get a way out. But outside of that, I'm just going to give it room to breathe. I know I'm repeating myself a little bit here, but as price action sprinting, I'm giving you my thoughts, right? The reasons for the trade. Zoom way out to the daily. It can be fun to look at the daily chart too, man. Like the way higher time frame zoomed out view. Like, what is this? I try to picture, like, okay, we're here in the morning of NYSE session. What does this candle look like? What does it do for the rest of the day? And how does it close? This is really like price action based, right? Looking at individual candles. The 4 hour can be fun because you get a little bit more structure on it. If it loads the 4 hour for me. Uh-oh. Okay, we don't like the 4 hour. There we go. Loads the 1 hour. 1 hour can be fun. Again, you get a lot more structure, like really zoomed out on the 1 hour, looking at the last few months. Yeah, challenging these highs, right? We're kind of breaking this, not kind of. If I was a trend line guy, before you got this information down here, right? You got a pretty clean trend line, maybe coming off of these two. Maybe you had one here, and you say, okay, that's low enough to be respected, right? We came above it, challenged it, came right back down, put a lower low in. That's still valid. Maybe you have one there. Maybe you have one here. No matter what, they're getting challenged, right? And it looked like we were going to respect it over here, pull back down, but pulled up, retests, pulling up. Again, I'm not a trend line guy, but I use them to point out market structure and price action, highs and lows. This is looking fairly strong. We have this forming to the upside here. Boom. Let's draw some magical arrows on the chart. Go up, NQ. Let's get the win for the first day back live trading. Go. But no, that's what it's looking like to me on market structure price action. Choppy though, right? We can chop around here. We can come and sweep lows. We can kind of go back and forth. We had a chance to do this, really early to just blast off. This looks good. Does a sweep down, test this level again. Sellers can't take it lower. Continuation higher. But do we need to just retest VWAP and come lower? Maybe. But plot twist, guys, it's either going to go up or down, one way or the other. But yeah, again, back to the daily chart, which was the thought of this stream of consciousness that I started there. This forming like as a bullish candle, if this trade does play, it would be really interesting for the rest of the rest of this week into this next couple of months. Like, do we really start to continue this run back up? Market likes that their boy Trump is back in the office, or he does some stuff that would indicate good, whatever that means for the U.S. economy or policy, or at least it's interpreted that way, and we start to run. We got room, we got room to go, but somewhat of an interesting point, right? If we're going to hold this, we're going to come back down and put a lower low in. But that was some nice structure down here. Some really nice structure down here, all the way down below 21,000. Right, we did not want it to stay down below there. Rejected really harshly. Big bullish candle to the upside. Again, like higher time frame speculation, right? Like how much does this help on the lower time frames? It's out for debate. You know, I don't think, I'm not a fan of forming a super strong bias coming in and saying long America, eh? Yeah, long America, Andre. We are long America. Yeah, like I don't find it helpful to form a super strong bias, but I think being aware of where you are in the higher time frame structure, right? Like, you know, have we really been pushing up day over day over day? You know, very bullish. Looking if we're really zoomed out, and then as we get more zoomed in into the 30-minute, the 1 hour, we're also really bullish, and then we drop down to the 5-minute and we're above VWAP, we're opening up above prior day high. Like, that can be helpful to understand. I don't think it's helpful to say, okay, at market open, we're just looking for longs, and we're just going to disregard the crazy sell-off that happens right into the open. You know, I don't think that's helpful. So I think staying flexible really is good. Like, I don't need a lot of time to mark my charts up. This is a lot of zones. But you can see what's on my chart right here. Literally 2 indicators, and they're both the most popular volume-based, actually 3 because I have traditional volume, but it's volume, volume, volume. And then I've got 2 sets of levels, prior day high and low, IB high and low, which I don't always mark IB high and low. And then a bunch of discretionary crap, right? Just discretionary zones. Simple. Why? So I could focus on price action and market structure. Bookmap, most complicated thing over to the side. The crazy colored heat map. But yeah, I mean, we get a push out of this, close above yesterday's high, or really start to break and run. Interesting. We chop around here, not going to be as decisive. We could be in for some just kind of choppiness, pull back down, kind of just, you know, jerk around the 21,500 level for a while before we figure out what we want to do. But yeah, we're in, Andre. We're in the long. Hanging on tight, much wider stop loss, and take profit. We're going to hold on to this one. We're going to hold our trades, right? If you check out my Twitter, it's Real Deal Zach and Real Deal Zach on Instagram and Twitter. I broke down a bunch of the top 25 leaderboard, the guys that are on there. Their price was teleporting. Won't lie, got chopped up earlier. Yeah, bro, I feel you. In long as well. I feel you. This was tough, man. This was tough. I again, on another day where I get involved like real quick, this is, where'd my vertical line go? Oh. On another day on low time frames, this is dicey for me, right? We're selling off at the open. This looks good. Like maybe I'm in here, like really aggressively, right? Like 10 minutes in, with a stop loss, you know, somewhere up here, just arbitrarily. Maybe we pull what we pulled here. We get below VWAP, pull back up, and then big bearish candle. Like that's looking good, right? Like that's looking pretty good. Even that could be tough, right? Back and forth. If you're on ES, this is really, really tough right now. You know, we really don't have clear direction. You know, we are already getting above these, these kind of low time frame highs here. But yeah, it can be tough on these days, man. Kind of just choppy, and it might be tough for me, right? We might come down and just stop this, and I look back and I say, well, yeah, we had that big push back up, and you got involved over here, but this was just choppy back and forth garbage, and we really didn't make a decision. Maybe, but I feel you on that one, man. Part of the game, man. Part of the game, right? Where I was going with that is if you check out Twitter, you check out Instagram, I broke down the stats from the top 25, which they give to you, the top 25 live funded traders at TopStep. These are the guys that are making the most money in live accounts right now. And the stats are really interesting. What it displays, if I was going to summarize it, is that most guys are not operating with a win rate and a risk to reward combination that's nearly as high as you think, and that you don't need to make really good money. You have to be really good at structuring your risk, in my humble opinion, and managing that risk. I think it also displays hold times. The hold times were crazy. These guys are holders. The average hold time is over an hour for winning trades. and it's just at an hour for losing trades. There's not many at all that are holding trades for like 5 or 15 minutes or less. Not many at all. The win rates under 50%. The average was like 42 or 43%. I'd have to pull the number up, but almost half, 12 out of 25 guys have a win rate in the 30s. That, I think, is really important to pay attention to. I'll also note, I'm sure the results are skewed, right? I don't know how they're adjusted. I don't understand, exactly where they come from. I don't know if they're adjusting for like, moving stop loss to break even, or, what's counted, what's not counted. But as a whole, it's averaged out of a lot of trades. I think it gives you an idea of kind of what that trader looks like. On average, most have a positive risk to reward with that long hold time and a low win rate. But not as high as you would think. It's not like on average, 8 to 1 or 6 to 1 or something. A lot of these guys are moderate win rate, in the 30s, 40s, and 1.5 to 2.5 risk to reward, on average. And long hold times. There's not a lot of super scalpers on there. There's 5 on the board. I'm remembering some of them now. That stood out to me. There's only 5 on that board that have over a 60% win rate, and every one of them has a negative risk to reward. Again, risk to reward is, I'm basing this on average losing trade versus average winning trade, which is technically not risk to reward. It's giving you a ratio from average losing trade to average winning trade, which is what we can go off of for the results. What kind of stop loss is required for that type of hold time? Wide, man. I'm assuming wide, right? You can watch Dakota, right? He's number 1 on the board, and he's on Top Step Live right now, probably every day. Feel free. Those guys have a ton of value. If you left my stream, unfortunately, and went over there, I wouldn't fault you. They're fantastic over there. I'll be on Friday, but he's got a long hold time. Long hold times. And you can watch him. It's holding on to these winning trades longer than their losers, much longer. I think there's a nice gap of like 30 or 40 minutes between, on average, between winning trades and losing trades. So again, what you do, not everybody, right? There's absolutely guys at the exception. There's big, guys that are good, that are really good on there. Nick for a Tick's up there really, really high, and he's, much lower hold time, higher probability, 60% or something like that. Doing very well. But I think in general, it could be helpful, at least in my opinion, to pay attention to what guys in your field are doing. If you're trading prop firms, and maybe if you're trading with TopStep, that would be somewhat relevant. It's a very small market segment, right? We're looking at a very, very specific, small group of guys, but I don't know, maybe you say, nope, that's skewed and I don't care at all what they're doing. Just a thought. I believe that would include New York session. It would include all sessions, John D. I believe that would include all sessions, all of their trading. I don't think that they're designating it to one or the other. I think that most are trading New York session, but that's just a random assumption. Almost all of them trade NQ. It's by far the majority. Almost every single one of them trades NQ. I think there's a couple guys up top that are trading ES. There's a couple gold, if I remember correctly. But again, you look at a guy like Dakota, he does trade other markets. He does trade overnight sessions all the time. So, that's an example that we have. Yeah, overnight sessions not as volatile. That's a fair assessment. It's not, right? Asia and even London, London being more volatile, but Asia's very slow moving, slow markets, right? That's what we call it. Yeah, man, not nearly as volatile, much slower moving. Can be a little bit choppy, in my humble opinion, but. But yeah, man. If you have to trade one or the other, take your pick. If you're only able to trade one or the other, I think you could make it work across really any different session. You just have to kind of adjust for it. For me, I like the volatility of New York. I like trading the same time, although we're not really doing too much right now. I like trading the same time every day. I'm thankful to be able to do this and trade this time of day. But I think you could structure trades for overnight sessions, for London session. You could trade different instruments maybe that make more sense. I leave the 15 up on this slow moving chart. This looked okay, right? This looked okay. Bullish candle, test, you know, long legs to the downside on the 15-minute, nice bullish to the upside if we're price action, and you know, here we go. We're not really following through. Choppy. Just VWAP chop is what we're getting here, guys. That's what I would draw this as. If I wasn't in a trade now, would I be getting in? That might have been another setup for guys, right? You know, you might say, you know what? This presents a nice trade for me. I want to see us take off after this and continue to the upside. We got nice bullish momentum back up off a prior day low. We're holding above VWAP, at least for right now. We got a nice close above, and I like that to the upside, cracking above these highs, and I'm going to go stop loss right down here. Could see something like that, right? Nice positive risk reward just up to prior day high. Maybe you look to manage around IB high, but I could see that. Maybe you say, no, this is a short play. This is a break of VWAP, retest, you know, test a sweep of prior day low, just right below it on the MNQ, and we're about to melt. Just structure risk to the downside on this. You go opposite completely and stop loss way above the high and come down and break the low. So, but I'm gonna hold on to this bad boy long. Set some alerts up here. Set some alerts down near my stop loss, and like I talked about earlier, if you jumped on late, probably look to manage this thing into the afternoon. If we don't just knife down to my stop loss, maybe look to take partials on the way up, holding for an extension. If we just chop for forever, we continue doing this, I'll probably look to take it off at some point. But for right now, I'll hold on to this, see if we can't get that afternoon move. Kind of just continue following this really slow structure that we're trying to form to the upside. But again, if you hopped on late, hit the like button, man. Help me out. You don't have to. You don't have to do anything. Free means free. You could hop in the 100% free Discord community, not a VIP feeder program. You could trade live with me every day here. Hit the subscribe button if you want to hit that. But yeah, hop in Discord, man. Trade ideas, analysis, talking about trading, everything that goes into it, sharing the good, the bad. Bunch of guys that have been in there for a while with me. It's awesome. 1,400 members. We'd be happy to have you in the Real Deal Futures Discord. Link is down below. Link is in chat. Yeah, I was hoping to get some movement out of here while I'm on with you guys, but this thing is just dragging. If nothing else, I'll display my desire to try to be like the best and hold on to trades, right? That's what I'll display there. Thanks. I prefer being in here. Like I said, for sure, man, for sure. I got you. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, man. This is something for everybody on YouTube, right? We got you know, people that are super animated and crazy, screaming and yelling. You got probably people that are quieter than me, and everything in between. You also probably have guys that are super scalping and guys that are taking you know, much higher time frame trades than even this. So find what you like, right? That's the beauty of having so many people do this stuff. It's awesome. What's up? If you just hopped in the Discord, I see a few people just hopped in. Welcome, welcome. If you're still on here, happy to have you. Checking out. Just got an alert for a couple things. Yeah, man. Feel free to hit me up at Discord. We could look at your trade journal. I'm happy to take a look at it. I know a couple guys that just make them on like ask like ChatGPT to make them and stuff. It's pretty interesting. Rusty, the info about the top guys wholly makes sense. I'm working on something. John H said 20 trades, put in a stop loss and take pre, and let it happen. Not that it's hard not to meddle. Yeah, right. You know, again, if you find through journaling that you typically mess your trades up by managing them, by like closing them early, adding, doing something, you know, and your results show that for a lot of guys it does. You got to go for the set it and forget it. Put the hard stop and take profit in the area that makes sense. Think about what those levels are, and then get away from it. Right? Just don't touch it. You can literally set alerts if you want and walk away, but you know, train yourself to do that, right? And then only start to ease back in on something that makes sense to do, like one thing at a time. But yeah, I think a lot of guys struggle with that. But journaling is going to show you that, because right, you have a good trade and you have a screenshot of your position tool, and you continually jack up what would be nice winning trades, right? If you're continually cutting trades short that continue to stop loss, keep doing what you're doing, man. You know, you're doing great. But otherwise, pull the set it and forget it. Set your stop loss, set your take profit, and practice actually stepping away. I think that would be the first thing. Just straight up close the charts. You know, set your alerts, make sure it's in. A little, you know, it's a little bit of a risk there because you can't manage if something goes wrong. But step away and let those trades play out. And if you watch, all of a sudden your results improve. It's a pretty clear picture being painted that you're jacking stuff up by touching it. And then come back. Step 2 would be to watch them play out, you know, setting your take profit and stop loss, having built some confidence and a good habit and an understanding that if you just let it run, things will be okay. It'll work out okay. And then maybe you say, well, my results show that a lot of my trades, you know, move into profit by X amount. They move 1 R in profit, or, you know, 100 points in profit. And then they come back to stop me all the way out. And if I move those to break even at 100 points, the, you know, ratio of trades that go all the way to stop loss from there versus come back to break even and then continue in my direction is beneficial for me to do. And then, you know, you decide on like one trade management thing at a time, but you make it really clear, right? And when I talk to guys, when I work with guys, that's important. When are you going to touch the trade, right? If you're going to actively manage your trade outside of just setting a take profit and stop loss and getting taken out at either one, what are you going to do and when? You know, it takes a lot of confidence and experience to actively manage trades on low time frames the way you see a lot of other traders do, including myself, because you're going to be wrong sometimes. You're not always going to be right. You're going to take a good trade off. You're going to, you know, add to a trade that comes back on you. You're going to go stop loss to break even, and then it continues in your direction. And you got to have a lot of confidence in what you're doing, because you're being very discretionary with it, and you're adding a variable in there that can not work sometimes. So I think it's definitely I take 5 when 20 was available all the time. Yeah. Yeah, man. You got to take a step back and understand, okay, well, I know that I'm doing that. I can see it in my results. It's playing out over and over and over again. What's the easiest course of action to correct this? Set it. Set your take profit and stop loss and get away. Log out. Set alerts so you don't touch it, but get away from it. Let the thing play out and then watch that P&L increase, right? Because you're not constantly cutting your losers short and letting your, cutting your winners short and letting your losers run all the way to stop you out. And then bring yourself back into the equation and decide if there's something that you could be doing on a small scale to help. But yeah, it's a challenge, man. Everybody's got something different. And that's there for a lot of guys, is just mismanaging trades. I talk about that a lot. What you do after you get into the trade is equal to, if not more important than what you did when you first put the trade on, right? After you hit the buy or sell button, what you do is really going to impact what happens. Are you going to add and draw down? Are you going to move your stop loss? Are you going to duck out of every winning trade with, $100 on the line and then watch it run to 1,000 and never realize that potential? That's important. It's really important to think about. And so much is around how we're going to get in, right? Like almost an entry-based thought, right? We use all these tools. It's going to tell us this is the good entry. You can have a great criteria for entry and system and jack up every trade once the trade's on, and the trade actually works out, but because you stopped yourself out near break even on almost every one, you never realize any of it. So it's important to recognize, man. That's what I would go with it. I think you have a good game plan. Mike Z, what's up, man? Good morning. Welcome everybody that hopped on late. If you're here late, what's up? I appreciate you being on here. Hit the like button, man. We got a trade running. I'm long 2MNQ from 21,612 and 3/4. Stop at 21,493 and 1/4. Really wide stop loss, looking for a larger move to the upside, playing off of higher time frame structure. This trade has been doing a whole lot of nothing, chopping around near my entry, holding on to it for a move towards IB high that may or may not come. If we knife lower because Trump says or does something, I'm out or right around that $500 loss level. I'm comfortable with that. Trading these 50K XFAs fairly aggressively. But appreciate you guys hopping on here, man. Hit the like button. Help me out. Slam the like button. Or don't. You don't have to do anything. If you're not in the free Discord, feel free to hop in the free Discord. 1,400 members. Advanced guys. Shout out Brian. Shout him out again. Sharing some awesome detailed thesis and charts. A lot of other guys in there. Shout out everybody that does that. And guys sharing the good and the bad, right? Tough, choppy days. Like Andre hopped in here, man, got chopped up. You'll see that from a lot of guys. It can be helpful to just kind of get that feel, right? There's tough days in trading. Most guys are losing more trades than they win. That's and they're making a little bit more when they're right and losing a little bit less when they're wrong if they are making money. But it can be tough. Be tough to stand through that. Long 629 and 1/4. Send it, brother. Send it. Yeah, we'll see. Again, the longer this chops, it's not like forming horrible structure here. Like, again, trying to be objective, right? Like if I'm not in a trade, it's not forming terribly bearish structure, right? Like we didn't sweep a high, come lower, pull back up, reject and head lower. Could be way worse. We are just drifting, but maybe a little bit to the upside, just ever so slightly. But we are chopping a lot at VWAP. And getting involved here in this, it's a little bit tough. Like I said, pushing to the upside, I could absolutely see a long off of a candle like this or a break of these highs, right? If you're on the the lower time frame as we start to push up, stop loss down below here or somewhere lower or where mine is for that matter, on a continuation. But we don't have buyers stepping in yet. I'd like to see a crack all the way back up through here. Right back to prior day high. Yeah, man. We'll see. We'll see what NQ has for us today. see what our boy NQ has for us today. Put our trades on, let them play out. That's all we could do, right? Recognize the risk. Recognize the game of probabilities we're playing. Not get too absorbed in any one trade, right? Got to think in large sample sizes. That's the challenge. I think what a lot of that, I've been talking about it just because it's just interesting to see. But what a lot of that board displayed to me, that top 25 live funded traders at TopStep, the stats from those guys, that the average win rate being 43 or 42%, whatever the actual number is, and 12 out of 25 guys being in the 30s, lower than 40% win rate with nice positive risk rewards, displays you're going to have to take a lot of losses. You're going to have to take a lot of losing days. You're going to have to accept that you're not even going to be right half the time if those are your stats. And I think a lot of guys might end up with a nice edge in the market. They might end up finding something that works for them after they put the time in, right? Not on day one or month one or probably even year one, but you end up with something that works, and you just really can't accept the game of probabilities that you're playing, where you're going to take losses. You're going to take back-to-back losses. You're going to have red days, red weeks, oftentimes red months. And if you could just continue to execute instead of YOLOing the account or losing confidence and throwing the system out the window after 2 losses, which were completely normal, you might make money. You probably do okay. And I think, again, like when you go to the big psychology books, the Mark Douglas stuff, Best Loser Wins by Tom Hogard, all of these books, what separates the best guys, the guys that do really well, or even the ones that just make money from everybody else, is the way they think about trading. It's the way they think about trading. It's not that they have some magical answer, right? Not that they're super smart. Otherwise, doctors and lawyers would make great traders, and they don't, but it's challenging, right? It's easier said than done. I face it all the time. So it's hard, right? If I have to watch this trade come all the way back and stop me at 478, and then tomorrow I come back again, I take another trade and it stops me again. I take 2 trades, I get stopped out both. That your confidence sometimes starts to get shaken. You go, oh man, with these good trades, maybe I should look at an EMA crossover strategy on YouTube, right? Like that's that used to be the MO back in the day. So, but you have to recognize, right? Like a great win rate would be in the 60s, and even then, you're losing 3 or 4 out of 10 trades, and that's random distribution. So you're probably going to take some consecutive losses. So I think that that's kind of what stood out to me. And along with that, the hold times, really interesting. Most guys are holding trades. They're holding for banger trades. They're holding on to those winners. They're not cutting winners short and holding on to losers. They have long hold times on average, and they're holding winners for longer than they're holding their losers, because likely they're getting stopped out, or they're holding on to those winning trades for a long movement. They're going to capture a big piece of it. They're not going to cut themselves short. Failing to move higher here in the 15-minute. I don't like this turn back around, man. Back to entry on this one. Again, going to hold this trade. I'd be okay with a sweep down here and then a turn. That would be really sweet. Take everybody out that got long over here with a stop loss right down at the 80s, even like the 70s. We come back down to challenge these lows with some force, or we start to sell off really aggressively. Dicey move. But again, if you hopped on late, you got my my entry and my stop loss for right now. Plan on holding on to this thing. I may manage if we come all the way down lower. If we chop for the next few hours and we end up down, below my entry, I may cut it short. But more than likely, I'd be stopped out of this thing for a full stop out or for break even if we continued up and I got stop loss to break even. On the way up, if we turned from here, if we continue up, we continue this kind of choppy movement to the upside, I'd probably look to manage, calculate above session highs, overnight highs, IB high, but depending on what that looks like, right? If we really start to crack up with some force, we get a nice drift, I want to hold on to this thing. That's where I'd be looking to maybe start to take some off, move stop loss to break even. But started wide, right? Big stop loss. I got to hold on to this bad boy. Got to realize that nice positive risk to reward, right? Big movement to the upside. So, long hit. Break even took some partials. Not my day. Andre, yeah. Amen. Yeah, I'd probably wrap it, man. I'd probably utilize that top step lockout feature if you're still on TopstepX and lock it up, man. This is choppy. This is very choppy. I'm gonna let this one play, but again, like this is tough on the low time frames. This is very back and forth, right? Like what do we really have to work with here? Looking at like a 2 minute or 3 minute or 1 minute. That's tough. It's a whole lot of nothing. We are consolidating in a range here, right around VWAP. So horrible price action. Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, I would take it easy today. If you're not, if you're done trading, if you're still trading, this isn't presenting beautiful direction. This isn't presenting, really, really clear opportunity. That's tough, right? Like again, you zoom in, that's tough. Man, like that's not so easy to work with here. So again, I'm playing off of something on a much higher time frame, right? Well, not much higher, but just generally higher time frame, larger movement. I'm still okay with this. Do I love it? No, I would have liked to see this continue from right here. Pull back down, long ways to the downside, bullish candle to the upside. That movement would have been really nice. Do I not like it enough to just close it here at break even? No, I'm going to leave it on for now. See if we get some retest, sweep below these lows, really piss everybody off that got long up here. And then continue higher. But I run the risk of a stop out. So that's my game plan. Again, we chop. If we just continue this and drift lower, and we are below my entry, we're late into the afternoon, I'll probably get out if I don't just get knifed through. And again, managing up here might be the game plan. Managing, I really want to see, all the way back up towards yesterday's high. But we start to crack higher, I'll look to manage as we come up. Stop loss to break even, hold on to the whole thing, take one off, stop loss to break even, some combination of that. We'll go from there. But on that note, guys, with 25 of you on here and 23 likes, hit the like button, man, if you're still on here. I'm calling Trump. Where's the good price action? Call him up, Andre. I don't know. This is day one, man. This is what we got for day one. I don't know about this, man. I don't know. We were promised like some volatility here. This looked like pretty crazy. I don't know about all this. This is like, I don't know. Gonna have to see. No, guys, but take it easy. This is choppy, if you're still trading. I would, right? Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just an idiot on YouTube. You shouldn't take anything I do or post seriously. This is all for entertainment purposes only. Trading's risky. Almost all traders lose money. You're probably going to lose money if you trade. And read CFTC Rule 4.41 because trading in prop firms and prop accounts and funded accounts and XFAs, all that fun stuff is simulated trading, sim accounts. So anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up right here with this trade running right around break even. This was awesome. I'll be back here, like the banner says, subscribe live every day. So long as I'm here with some capital to trade, I'll be showing you how I do what I do live. Talk to you guys soon. Hop in the free Discord. Links below for everything. If you have questions, feel free to hit me up in there. Trade well today, guys. Structure your risk. Talk to you soon.